Hello everyone, this is Antoinette Herndon and my favorite assessment tool is Unique Learning. Unique Learning is an online portal that is designed for teaching individuals with disabilities. Unique Learning is a part of another system called News2You. They are unfortunately not free programs, but you can get them purchased through your county, through your school, or you can purchase them as an individual. Another unfortunate thing is that News2You and Unique Learning, they're one system, but you have to purchase both of them separate. Right now, I'm just going to focus on Unique Learning. Unique Learning offers monthly lessons, monthly benchmarks, and different assessment tools that you can use for your students. So as you can see here, you have your monthly lessons, you have your grade band, which is elementary, high school, middle school, or transition. And then over here you have your core materials, your teacher materials, and here is where you do your student tracking on the News2You GPS. So here I've created a fake student, and what I'm going to do is show you how I assess my students so that I know how to group them and what type of materials to provide to them when using the monthly lessons that are here on Unique Learning. So typically you're going to make one of these profiles for each student. You're going to have individual tracking skills for them. So for this student, in the areas of reading, I focused on decoding. In the area of writing, I focused on writing process. In the area of math, I focused on money and time. Now this may look the same for all of your students, or it may look different. I want to show you what the benchmarks look like. Once the student takes this assessment, it'll tell you their interpretation of the data. If the student is instructional, if they've reached mastery, and I'll show you a little bit what this looks like. So here we have the picture match test. I'm going to run the test. And here the student is just going to match the picture at the top with one of the ones on the bottom. So the student scored at 18. We're going to save it. And the beautiful thing I like about this assessment tool is it grabs the information for you. I'm going to go back to benchmark, and I'm going to show you here we're on rhyming words, picture recognition. They didn't reach mastery, but they're at instructional, as you can see over here. So it says moderate level of active participation. We're going to go back to benchmark. So in this area up top, you see the different categories. So here we're in emerging skills. You have early learning, which is your rhyming words, your letter identification, upper and lower case. You have your reading skills. You have writing, basic math, math problem solving. So we're going to go to basic math. So here we had numbers and counting to 20. Let's take a look at this assessment. So when they took this assessment, they only scored 2 out of 18. So here he says review, revise. It says review the student's present level and revise goals to more appropriately address learning potential. So here, when you have a student that's performing at this level, you may want to reevaluate their goals. Another thing I like about this assessment tool is it can help you with making those IEP goals for your students. So if you had an IEP goal of counting numbers up to 20 and you see that a student is consistently scoring low numbers, you may want to change that goal. Maybe you want to have them counting 1 to 10 or something like that. So once again, here is the home screen. There's monthly checkpoints that you can do. You have your rubrics for a transition, and I'm going to show you what the lessons kind of look like. So here you have a story. It's going to be broken down into 3 different ways. Based on how your students perform on their assessments, you might have a student that's going to be a level 1, a level 2, or a level 3. A level 1 student is going to be that person who requires a lot a visual support. They may not be reading at this point. They may be a non-reader who just is learning how to identify pictures, or they're already mastered reading pictures, but they're not having much luck with actual reading. Your level 2 student is your student who may be doing well with sight words, but they're not consistently reading, and they still require additional visual cues and visual supports. Your level 3 student is your student who's going to be a little more effective with their reading. So when I go back to this page over here, this is the story for the month of October, Birds, Mammals, and Reptiles, oh my. So this is for your level 3 student. So at the top you see level D. So you see here, there are a lot of words that the student can read, and there are still pictures, but there are a lot of words here. Your level 2 student, which is the level B here, not as much reading. Then you have your level AA, and that's where you have your students who need more visual support. Then you have assessments at the end that you can ask your students different questions about the story. So based on how your student is performing, you'll know what level they're at and which version of the story that they'll need to read. All of the assignments are aligned to standards. That's another component that I like. You have your standards, you have your assessments, all in one place. So the one part that I mentioned earlier is the transition part. So here is an opportunity where the students can assess themselves. So you might have transition goals in the areas of communication, employability, self-advocacy, social strategies, and daily living. The student can write their name and date, and then they can see how well they are in the areas of communication, as far as can they tell others about the things they do. Employability, for those students, can I work by myself? They can assess themselves and say, most of the time, sometimes, need to work on this, or they may not know. Self-advocacy skills and social strategies. All these have some type of visual associated with them so that it's more helpful for those that are those non-readers. And then these are goals that the students can work with the teacher on and set those goals for themselves, and then they can do it for each day of the week. So once again, this is Unique Learning. There's so much that I could show you guys about. If you have any additional questions about Unique Learning, just let me know and I will respond back. Thank you guys.